surprised at the number of Republicans that were persuaded to sign on to this level of Medicaid cuts?
What a disaster. You know the bill is bad when they hold all of these meetings in the dead of night. I think that, the fact that several Republicans who claim to have issues with the bill ultimately surrendered is not surprising. I think that what Rand Paul just said is interesting because if he's telling the truth, he'd be one of a few deficit hawks left in the Republican Party. You've got a $36 trillion national debt that no one seems to care about anymore, and that is incredibly problematic for the future of this country.
Brendan, can Democrats exploit these conflicts, or will Senate Republicans fall in line like their House colleagues did? You heard my colleague Julie Sirkin asking that question of Rand Paul.
I think Democrats should exploit this. I don't think they will, and I do think ultimately that a handful of Senate Republicans will surrender and they'll kowtow to this. The reality is that, for instance, the SALT tax, and raising that is needed because blue states pay more money into the Treasury that keeps this country running than do red states in the South. That is a fact. It is also a fact that you need these clean energy tax credits to help America win the future. We should protect those things, but I think ultimately Senate Republicans will surrender to Donald Trump as they typically do, and we'll have these horrific cuts for Medicaid and elsewhere. It's a shame, too, because the reality is that Medicaid is wildly popular and necessary. 97% of Americans say that they are affected by Medicaid or they know someone that is. And the overwhelming majority of those people are either working or cannot work. You only have about 6 to 7% of people on Medicaid who are able-bodied and don't work. And so there is no reason to attack Medicaid except, grandmas who need Medicaid don't have lobbyists. And that's why we have this.
Ramaphosa, he kept the compliments coming. He was hoping for a productive meeting, clearly. But is Trump always aiming for that gotcha moment? And if so, why? It is a very unique approach to diplomacy.
It was on brand, which is he brings in this white supremacist video that was patched together inaccurately from different countries in Africa. Many of those scenes didn't even actually happen in South Africa. It was patched together, and the entire narrative was a lie, which aligns with nearly everything Donald Trump does, which is it's often a scam, it's often a lie, it's often a misrepresentation of whatever it is. And honestly, as an American, I just find it to be shameful.
Michael, I want to ask you about the slow progress on the tariff talks. When Trump is this confrontational, does it make it hard to get these deals done? And do whatever results that Trump gets risk being short-term because no one likes to be strong-armed?
It gives you the opposite result. You can't bully people into coming to terms for a trade agreement. I was just in Berlin speaking about this particular situation, and I had several conversations with diplomats throughout Europe, and they had this sentiment that they would unite and work together. If Donald Trump didn't want to work with them, they would work together, and that's what's happening. The entire world, at least the entire West, is coalescing amongst themselves, and they're working together and delivering trade deals. And even Japan, in that regard, is working with them. Everyone is getting something done, except for Donald Trump. The alleged so-called deal maker is actually not delivering deals that help the American people.